Positively Caffeinated. I'm Camden.
And I'm Tish Burke. In
Today-
today's episode, we're going to talk about our first 30 days on our 16 acres. We call it
Lavender Hill Springs.
Thank you. Lavender Hill Springs. So after 30 days, you figure you get that. We just thought we'd talk about, everyone has an adventure. This is our adventure. And it's all new. We haven't really ever lived on anything more than
Half acre, maybe, if that.
Yeah. And in the suburbs, both here, California, South Carolina,
London.
and London for you. And my whole life. So this is a new adventure. And we thought we'd talk about a few things. So let me ask you the first question. So what's been like the highlights for you so far in the first 30 days?
First 30 days on the farm, huh?
It could be highlights. It could be changes. It could be...
Well, one thing I have noticed is, I think, the atmosphere, as far as like, when you're in the city or in the suburbs or wherever, when you're close to a big city, there's a lot more, light and air pollution and so forth versus out here. You get a clear view of the stars basically every night, which I think is really cool. I think also kind of the quietness that comes from 15 acres too. Like, you don't have as many sirens or anything like that. So it's a lot more, if you're, someone that enjoys, quiet and nature and peace, I think that's something that I've really enjoyed over the past 30 days. As far as, things that we've built, I'll let you, if you want to talk about it, or what you enjoyed.
I think for me, it's different. And those that view our channel and so forth will get to know us better. But, when you're coming from the suburbs and you hear all kinds of things, like you said, sirens and so forth, and then you wake up here and what do you hear? A cow. But I think it's really cool that I'm hearing from you and from, Lola and others is, I think it's exciting, is that you're actually stopping listening to things. Mom said, the other day she saw, I think it was a bird or something like that, and took notice of it. Or was that you were saying like you saw a bunch of birds or something?
I think it might have been me.
Yeah. But just to notice, she did something similar. But anyway, just to notice those things, I think speaks about how it is different. A lifestyle is different. And
yeah, definitely.
But you can live a different lifestyle, I guess what I'm saying. You can live a different lifestyle, but you don't necessarily notice it. And I think what I'm hearing, I think you guys are probably noticing more than I do. I will say, when I get up in the morning, I sit out here in the morning and drink a cup of coffee on the patio and so forth. I feel calmer. I feel like tranquility and so forth. Yeah. I've always my morning routine was always get a cup of coffee, do some quiet time, or inner perspective space, read my Bible, or whatever it is, right? So that's always been part of my routine, but it's much different here. It's much easier, I think, to just settle in and so forth. So that's been my highlights to the first 30 days, is kind of sitting back and kind of setting in, because my whole life has really been about go, 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 go.
True.
Because you work for, a company, or you work for yourself and all those things. And it's been a little different.
Well, now it's a lot more, self-motivated, right? It's a lot less, in the corporate world versus out here.
Definitely.
You have to motivate yourself if you want to get things done. As far as things that we've actually done, in the past 30 days, I think, did we build the barn get finished in the past 30 days?
Yeah, a little over 30 days. We built the house. That was finished in September, so a little like mid-September, late August. They're still doing a few things there. The barn was, actually built. The barn was actually built by the Amish in, 3 or 4 days, and they came back for the garage. The garage door. We still are working on that project and the inside and so forth. You can probably see in the background the barn, I believe, in this. They can probably see it, right?
Maybe. It's right over there.
We'll probably, one episode we'll take a tour of it and so forth, but the inside's not really done yet. So our goal is to, talk about what we did the first 30 days, but kind of give you kind of a dream list, I guess you'd say, and what were our aspirations, and not say a dream, but what we see the future as. The barn will house our roastery. It will house our bee production, our lavender. We plan to put our offices there. Is there anything else I'm missing that on the barn, what we hope
Um,
to do in there?
well, we're thinking about putting a deck on the side, right? And we're thinking about
Yes.
having,
You pick me.
yeah, you pick me, maybe even like a small pumpkin patch or, maybe live music or something, 1 or 2 years probably down the line.
And then next year, we hope we will have a Christmas display.
Yes, next year we'll have a Christmas display. So come this time next year, we'll probably be setting up a huge Christmas. It'll be
Well,
drive or walk. I think it'll be
maybe a
walk.
walk, maybe walk around, and we'll be, chiming in so you can come along with us. And if you're in the neighborhood, you can come visit it. But it would be a Toy Story theme, is what I think we're talking about.
Yeah.
So we want the property to be interactive. I'm a big proponent of, that the property has a energy in itself, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of we want to use it in that way where it's not just we're not farmers, but
Mainly, yeah.
it means all around us is farmers. They're growing corn and everything else. But for us
Looking
now,
at
it's more
us.
about an interactive, a place where hopefully people can come enjoy. So that's one of our things, is getting the barn finished. Another one is, you want to talk about the farm stand and kind of what our goals there are, at least until we get it up and running, right? We're going.
Yeah, so we're gonna build a farm stand that you all can come and visit out at the edge of the property if you guys just want to drive by. While we're not at the, you pick point in our journey here, we still would like to share some of the things that we create with you guys. And if you guys, feel or you're close or by the area and you want to get some homemade goods or whatever, we'll have it there at the farm stand, have some of our, our soap products, our candles, and maybe some of our neighbors' goods as well, potentially. But yeah, I think it'll be
Sorry, sock.
one of the thrills of
Sorry, folks.
being out in the
We
country.
were out. We were out. You get to see my sock.
Well, I was actually going to lead into that, not your
What?
sock, but I was going to lead into talking about how this 30 days, really, I think the thing we've done the most, as it doesn't sound super exciting, but is getting our hands in the dirt like everywhere. It's just been dirt,
Yeah.
red clay on everything, everywhere. Like everything dyed red clay just because of, we're planting things, we're, digging up, topsoil, replacing it, and just like, planting roots on the property. So I think that's how I would define this like 30-day period as probably being like grounding, both, how you were saying it's all very peaceful, but also in the very physical sense of us planting like how many trees? Like 14. And we planted like 15 trees.
And
Some.
probably more than that, because when we first got the land, we transplanted some too.
Oh yeah, true.
Probably they didn't all survive, but we're really trying to, the planting of the trees, also, getting our hands dirty and so forth. I find it much easier sometimes than getting a shovel. It's just really getting in the dirt and just moving the dirt physically by hand, on some of the planting pieces. But I also think the fact is that we're trying to look at the piece of land and bring in things that are native to, we live in Tennessee, if you didn't know that, native to our area here, not using any kind of chemicals, trying to be as natural, eco-friendly, even our products that we're producing.
Definitely.
And trying to be very conscious, getting our pond water tested, our pH and our property tested. We did all those things, and just really trying to figure out if it's something that's needed to bring back the vitality of the dirt and land. We're going to do those things, because we'd rather do that than, dump more chemicals and things on the land that probably are, already here. So it's going to be evolution, but I think we both agree that's something we're very prideful.
Yeah, proud of, yeah.
And proud of, I
Exactly.
think proud of trying to do, than just, like I said, dumping a bunch of stuff on land and that's not native. And yes, it may grow well and may be prosperous, but it's not necessarily productive.
I
What about,
think
so what's been like the hardest thing
one.
for you to adjust to moving out in the country?
Probably the hardest thing. And I was actually, I drove 46 minutes to get a haircut today. And I would say that's probably the biggest adjustment, which is, probably a very generic answer for a lot of people, but you don't really think about it until you come out here. Well, actually, it's weird because I would say it's the hardest thing, but I find myself over the past 30 days, you kind of like block it out. A 45-minute drive in the country is like a 15-minute drive in Brentwood or Franklin, Tennessee. It feels the same because most of that 45-minute drive or whatever is just open road. It's like the back country. So you're just driving through fields and stuff. So it isn't like there's
Good
a whole
point.
lot of traffic till you get to
Right.
the congested areas. But I think
When you're a 45-minute, a 15-minute drive, but takes you 45 minutes, you're saying it seems different in regards to you're driving because you're actually physically driving, whereas the other one you're kind of sitting
yeah, exactly,
going
you're
2
stuck in
miles an hour.
traffic
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
well,
That's
yeah,
true.
and, like, 15 minutes drags on into 45 minutes, like, 15 actual minutes drags on to
Did you
feel
find
like
your stress
45
level was high?
minutes.
Did you find stressing out going the 45 minutes to go get your haircut, or was it enjoyable,
No,
or was it annoying
no, it was completely fine, I actually enjoyed it.
versus being like we said, the 15 minutes traffic jam, and it takes you 45 minutes to get to somewhere?
Yeah, well, the kind of person I like to have, like, time in between things, so, having that space, even, like, with, when I worked in the corporate world, getting to and from my job, I really enjoyed living a certain distance from my work so you could have that space to kind of decompress in between tasks, but, that's
And my
definitely
job is a lot of driving.
yes, yours was a
Uh,
lot of driving, probably too much driving,
but
and
then
so
I find myself like we're only like what 9 miles from the city here, or the what they call a city,
town
and I find
township.
myself when I go there is I gotta make sure I get everything. I gotta make sure I get everything. I
Yeah,
really don't want to get back home. And then like, because we had one of the things we had to install a water valve on the street side, and so it was quite an experience. I ended up having to go to town 2 or 3 times in a short period of time because we had a time limit on that sort of thing. And we will do better as we adjust our cameras and things for giving you guys more of a bird's eye view of things that we're doing on the property. I know some people have asked about that, like, oh, I'd love to see you guys what you're doing and so forth. So, as we continue to evolve on our podcast, that's one of the things we want to do. What I find challenging at times is we don't have it. We walk everywhere right now. It's like, it'd be easier if we had like a golf cart or
mm.
something. I think a little bit. This morning when I got up too, it's pitch black, and
Oh,
I kind
yeah.
of like that because I mean we have lights
Yeah,
on our house and we have
definitely.
lights on the barn. We don't really want a bunch of lights either,
Mm.
but there's a part of me like, oh my god, I gotta get it. I gotta put like a little headlight on or
Yeah,
something.
well,
I
you
was
walk
thinking,
probably, like, from the house is probably, I don't know, like, let's just say 20 feet behind the camera, and then probably to right behind these chairs here, from there on, it's just pitch black. At nighttime, like, you
yeah,
come out here, you cannot see 2 feet in front of you, and that was a big adjustment because you think
that's
of
what me too.
nighttime in, like, the suburbs or in a tiny community, and you think, like, "Oh, the lampposts and
Yeah, because
stuff," but you don't.
I used to run around our community,
Yeah,
at 4:30, 4 o'clock in the morning,
and I thought that was
and
dark. I thought
yeah,
that was
have,
oh,
street lights on and all those things. So those are all adjustments that I think I'm enjoying, but also like it's a little bit annoying. Like, oh, I want to get up and run around the property. So it's some of those things that just have to adjust. I guess just adjusting, and it's new to us that from that perspective. So
I wanted to ask, what do you think or touch on, what was one of the, a lot of people, they think about, I think a lot of people in the corporate world and like, living in the suburbs think about this lifestyle
hmm
and they think like,
hmm
oh, like how would I do? Or like, how, because obviously we didn't come from this, like we moved out here and this is our experience in this. And I'm like, as
it's my
someone,
Harry Potter one.
you're losing it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say is
Yes, I think if you're asking me like you're asking me like what's been the big mind shift from the corporate
no,
structure or
no.
what?
I mean, like, what are some challenges that like learning to how to use a tractor?
Oh
We've
yeah,
probably
yeah.
destroyed that tractor like 3 or 4 times.
I think for me, it's I've been trying to. I was talking to someone the other day, and they're saying like, okay, it's you get involved in routines. We're our human nature is routines, right? And in corporate world, you get up, at least maybe get a cup of coffee. In my position, I've been in, for many years, so get up, check your emails, get stuff ready if you're going out in the field or whatever. There is a set rhythm, right? Here, I'm still discovering what that is. To your point, but also being open to and realizing that everything you do, and maybe because my sister kind of spoke about that, you have to be open to like discovery. You've
Mm,
never done those things. There's gonna be frustration. You know how hard it is to put the backhoe and everything on the tractor, and
yeah.
actually do it much better than I do. But that was something
Oh,
we've
thank
never
you.
even done. But also it's not easy. And that's where you gotta kind of get patience and discovery and realize that it's not easy and realize I'm learning a new skill set. And I think that's the whole thing about change. And I'm sure people listening to this have gone through changes. It's a new skill set, new things, and being comfortable. What's that old saying in corporate world? Being comfortable, no, being uncomfortable and comfortable. I forget the phrase is.
Being comfortable in uncomfortability?
Something like that. Don't
I
quote me on
think
that, but it basically the concept is you learn most when you're uncomfortable and it doesn't feel good, but that's when you're learning the most. And I think that's where at least I feel I'm at. Like, I never done this and done tractor, dug so many holes and finding water lines and propane and,
well,
all the things that come with that, digging trenches and
think kind of tagging on to what you're saying
yeah.
here is that I think there's a lot of time out here where, at least I feel, I don't know about you, but in the last 30 days where it's just been like, there are days where you wake up and you're like confused or almost, I don't want to say aimless, but like you kind of like there's so many, like it's not a straightforward lifestyle. Like I was saying, it's all self-directed. So like you get up in the morning and like, it's not like you go to the office and there's like a pile of papers on your desk. Like you're staring at a plot of dirt and you're thinking, oh, I got to do something with that plot of dirt to make money. It isn't like someone's like, here's some money for, filing those papers or,
You don't get an hourly
pushing.
wage, you don't have yeah, you're
You're
right.
kind of like,
I
oh, I
think
got to
maybe
do
that's why they get
something.
animals sometimes too, like you have to get up, you have to, I haven't done this, but what I've seen on podcasts, you get up, you check your chickens and
Oh,
pull
true.
your eggs and,
Yeah,
then there's breakfast time and there's people going out, you're doing your gardening and so forth. We're not there yet, clearly, but I think some of that rhythm will come with those things as well as whereas here is like,
true.
we know we have to do certain things as far as our plans are, but if you didn't do it today, it would kind of be there tomorrow, probably at this point, the sense of urgency. And then what can you do? What can't you do? Based on, but everything is not necessarily making you money.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the other thing you have to really think of. And, we appreciate everyone who's listening to these stories and about, as we're speaking authentically to you, is like, we want you to see the good, the bad, and the ugly as far as we go through this journey. And it's just solely to just, it's our experience. It doesn't mean it's, you guys experience the same thing, but it's very interesting. Very interesting. Any other thoughts or any other comments you have before we close it out this time? Silence is golden. I like how your pants are all dirty. Is that because you're working on the farm?
Fuzz. Yeah. This is what I mean. The dirt, red dirt everywhere, everything
Your
in your
your
mouth,
your
in your
black
soul.
pants. We're all wearing black. We're all black.
Yeah, probably not the best. Yeah, that's my biggest takeaway from this. Don't wear black if you move out. I don't know if there's any like don't wear white either. Don't wear anything. Just go out there au natural into the country. No, I think that's it. I think you covered, a majority of the last 30 days. I think we talked about the things that we enjoyed, challenges that we face, and the things that we're planning on doing in the future. So I think, that's good.
Yeah. And we just want to thank you guys for joining us. Again, we're learning new things and we want to share those with you as you get to know us better and get to know that Lavender Hill Springs and our podcasts and what we're trying to accomplish here. We appreciate the support. So please subscribe and
We'll see you in the next episode.
thank you.